Yeah, I'm waving the flag. And I know that what I'm about to say won't be appreciated by a lot of people. Certainly not appreciated by some of my own family. And I'm going to pretty much read it if I can read my scribbles, because I know it's kind of a serious topic. But I think Congress should impeach President George W. Bush. I know the fact that I think it isn't going to have anything to do with it happening, but I'm going to put my thoughts out there anyway. Here's a man that ran for president without being honest about what he believed in. This man and some of the cronies he brought in with him believed in preemptive war. We have had a couple of preemptive wars. I'm not going to say we haven't. When we went into Mexico, I think it probably was a preemptive war. What we did to the American Indians, I don't know if it was ever even declared as a war, but we made war on them. And it was, I believe, preemptive. I think the Indians treated us far better than we treated them. But here's a man that would have never been president if he had said, hey, I belong to this, now they call it neocon element, to this radical right-wing element that believes in preemptive war. If we'd known that, I don't think our people would have elected him. So he ran on a lie, hid that. That's number one reason. Number two, he took us into Iraq based on lies. I think he knew they were lies. And I think he treated people, he and Cheney and Rumsfeld, I think they treated people within the organization that if you don't agree, you're out of here. And a man like Colin Powell, ignored, made him almost into a figurehead. Number three, this president, by going into preemptive war in Iraq, is responsible for the death of some 3,000 plus of our armed service personnel. And he's responsible for the maiming, the crippling of thousands others of our service people. That's number four. And number five, with the mess he's created over there by toppling that dictator and not getting out and creating a vacuum where they're killing each other left and right, and we're killing a lot of them as we try to pursue our objectives. He's responsible for the deaths of thousands and thousands of Iraqis, and he's a major cause of the displacement of a huge number of Iraqi people who have fled to get away from the violence. Those citizens, those innocents that were killed over there in Iraq, includes women, children, old men, young men, not just the ones that do just what we would do if we were being forced to try to accept the Muslim Iraqi Al-Qaeda ideas over here. We'd be the ones that would be the militants. But I'm talking about the thousands killed that were not actively opposing us in a terrorist kind of way. And of course he's number six, responsible for the maiming and the injuring of other thousands of Iraqis. And he's responsible for holding prisoners for years without any legal rights, without any hearings. Stashed them away in Cuba where they could be mistreated, and our press and our people couldn't see enough to really realize and get upset enough to stop it. And he did that in direct violation. He just simply said, we're not going to follow the Geneva Conference rules of warfare. It has been observed through the horrible, horrible World War II. So he just threw it out. So he's also responsible for the torture of prisoners in Cuba, and even more gross, he's responsible for sending people from Cuba out to other nations that would do more grievous, horrible torture than what we were doing down there. And we did a lot that was, I think impeachment grounds alone, the way he treated human beings. Claimed to be a Christian and then do that. And number 9 was sending those people away to other lands. And number 10, fiscal mismanagement. He inherited this country when it was relatively free, or was free of debt. And holy smokes, the debt that he has put us to, gave money, just flat out gave money to the rich when he first came in. Pays his political debts, doesn't he? But that's dishonest. He used your money, my money, to pay off people that supported him and who were rich. He goes ahead and in this war thing spends billions and billions of dollars, but we don't raise taxes. My God, if you're going to spend money, you better pay as you go at least a little bit. It's time if some taxes were raised. You know, our last president was impeached for being a damn fool and messing around with that young lady. But you know what? It's kind of like that Michael Vick story. Michael Vick killed dogs. The previous president messed with a girl he shouldn't have been messing with or having anything to do with, and certainly not in the Oval Office. He was stupid, stupid, stupid. But man, oh man, we're a sexually oriented country. We sell everything, we promote everything. The sex, 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 beautiful girls. Oh, I like to look at them. You bet. But you know what? He didn't kill anybody. He didn't torture anybody. Oh yeah, trying to cover it up, he lied under oath. Here we have a president that has sworn to defend this country and to do what's right for this country, and guilty of all the things that I'm saying are enough to warrant impeachment. So they didn't need them all. Pick one or two. You know, I think if it wasn't for all this political, I'm a Democrat, I support the Democrats, I'm a Republican, I support the Republican point of view, wasn't for all that compulsive taking sides thing, I think Republicans might be just as, if they were willing to be honest, just as eager to impeach this man for this fiscal thing. The Republican Party, the Conservative Party, and he represents it and puts us into debt that I can't even visualize the amount of debt. Total fiscal mismanagement of the resources of the United States of America. Every little kid owes several thousand, $100 and something thousand if we were to try to pay off the debt on a per pupil or a per resident basis. As Christians, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, you can't in any way not be embarrassed, chagrined by what's been done by this president. Well, a friend of mine tells me, we can't impeach George Bush. This country can't stand another impeachment. It would ruin us. And my reaction is, what? We can't stand the impeachment of a president? I don't see that it hurt us a whole lot to impeach the previous president on grounds by comparison amount to nothing. I think we'd be much better off to impeach the man and make clear to the world and to the country that, hey, you can't do these kinds of things as President of the United States without you being called on the carpet and the vote taken. You know, probably end up just like it did with Clinton. You're impeached, but you're not found guilty or whatever it is, to where you're kicked out of office. But I think we need to make clear that this is where we drew the line. We're not going to go with this. Everything from spying on the American people to all these other things that I've mentioned. Yes, I think the Congress of the United States should impeach George W. Bush. President George W. Bush.